From American actors who became governors, the former later elected president, the latter known for the phrase,
"I'll be back."
to Chima and Chinua, two of Africa's most famous authors who, though not related by some freaky coincidence, lived in the same house several years apart, and sadly, things did fall apart. Two American T-Ribs and German M. Schumacher, Formula One aficionados, born on the same day. From America's first black ballerina to Robert Ballard. From Indian author, teacher of yoga, BKS Iyengar, who reminds us that we are not getting any younger. To the drama in Bahama and the rumble in the jungle, a killer and a chiller and the thriller in Manila. From Malala to Lilibeth, the former whose son almost set in the SWAT district from an assassin's bullet, the latter Her Royal Majesty, whose empire the sun, it was said, never set. To the exquisite beauty of our expansive, expanding, and majestic universe. Whatever takes your fancy, there's something for everyone right here, right now. Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Sotonye Afiesimama, and this is Today in History for January 24th. Coming up in today's Today in History, as promised yesterday, gold nuggets, not metaphorical gold nuggets, nothing to do with wisdom, real gold. A princely show, fresh in the day, and this country's most famous prime minister. Don't go anywhere. First, we shall start with the gold nuggets story. So, again, I'm sure some of you have guessed this right. The year was 1848, and this is the day that the California gold rush officially started. When this man, a carpenter named James Wilson Marshall, found nuggets of gold in California's American River, near the site of a sawmill he was building for John Sutter. This, of course, ushered in the gold rush, the famous California gold rush, in which thousands and thousands and thousands of people from not just America, from a lot of countries around the world, flocked to California in search of fortune. Some of them found fame, of course, but most of them didn't find much fortune. In fact, there's a story that goes that the people who sold the shovels that were needed to dig for gold made more money than most of the people who went to search for gold. But yes, a lot of gold was found, a lot of people became wealthy. Again, this was the day in 1848 that the California gold rush officially began. When this carpenter pictured here, his name is James Wilson Marshall, found nuggets of gold in California's American River near the site of a sawmill. Pictured here, he was building for John Sutter. Okay, next, 1908. So this would be 60 years later, exactly 60 years later. This man here, lieutenant or lieutenant, depending on how you would pronounce the word, because depending on the country you're from, Lieutenant General Robert Baden-Powell of England. This was the first day the first Boy Scout troop was organized. So 1908 officially, this is a year on this day that the Boy Scouts was founded. So this is also known as Lord Baden-Powell. So Lieutenant General Baden-Powell founded the Boy Scouts on this day in 1908. So that's another picture, this time with his boys, who were the first set of Boy Scouts, presumably. The day was the 24th of January, and the year was 1908. Lord Baden-Powell and the Boy Scouts. Now, 1949, exactly 41 years later, Aaron Neville made his debut into the world. So not his debut into acting or his debut into music. He was born on this day in 1948. So he's 72 years old today. Aaron Neville, best known for his #1 hit, Tell It Like It Is, born in New Orleans on this day. He's 72 years old today. Aaron Neville, born on this day in 1949. So I'm just going to show you a bit more from this CD cover. The Grand Tour, it's called the Grand Tour, Aaron Neville's Grand Tour. Born on this day in 1949. He's 72 years old today. Now, yes, this is one of the statements I made at the outset, and his name is Winston Churchill. Sir Winston Churchill, former British Prime Minister. This was the day in 1965 that he sadly died. He is considered the most famous British Prime Minister probably of all time, or at least of modern times. One could argue that Margaret Thatcher would be number 2. Some would argue that she is number 1. But Sir Winston Churchill, pictured here in a beautiful, beautiful painting, very luminous painting, sadly died on this day in 1965. He was born in Blenheim Palace, England, on the 30th of November, 1874. Died January 24th, 1965, at the age of 90. So he lived a long life, lived a very long life. 90 years old is nothing to be sniffed at, if you like. Okay, 1979, on this day, believe it or not, Tatiana Ali. Yes, I did mention her earlier. Obviously, I didn't mention her name, but I mentioned that. Something about being fresh in the day. So I'm sure you get that. You got that clue, or you got the answer to the clue or the answer to the puzzle. I said a princely show, fresh in the day. So Tatiana Ali is a person who featured in the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, one of the various roles that she played. She played Ashley Banks in the Fresh Prince. That's where I saw her act for the first time, and I guess that's where most people would recognize her, apart from obviously other shows she has made. But Fresh Prince, I think millions and millions of people around the world will recognize her from the Fresh Prince. So this is Tatiana Ali. She is actually half Panamanian and half Trinidadian. So it's one of the reasons why I chose this picture. You know, there's a Trinidad and Tobago Carnival in 2013 where she participated. So Tatiana Ali, happy birthday. Incredibly, Tatiana Ali is 42. It's unbelievable. She's 42 years old today. She was born in 1979 on this day, January 24th. So happy birthday, Tatiana Ali. Born on this day in 1979. I'm tempted to rap the Fresh Prince rap, you know. Now this is a story all about how my life got twisted and right upside down, something like that. Anyway, I used to be very good at this back in the day, you know, when my kids were very young and they used to get excited when they hear me rap, you know. I'm not a rapper, I'm not a natural rapper. But yeah, so Tatiana Ali, let's not go off course. Tatiana Ali was born on this day in 1979. Happy birthday, Tatiana. Thanks for all the laughter. Thanks for all the tears as well. I'm sure we didn't have many tears watching Fresh Prince, but yeah, I guess the only tears people shared was the day the show ended, the whole show. You know, that was the day. And then obviously when what's his name now? Tatiana Ali's on-screen father, Uncle Phil, when he passed on obviously in real life. Obviously after I think it was after the show had run its course. Yeah, that was 5-6 years ago. Anyway, let's move on to the next event as recorded on this day in history. Next, this man here, Steve Jobs, introduced Apple's revolutionary computer, the Macintosh, 2 days after the groundbreaking commercial 1984 aired before a national TV audience and heralded the product's impending release. So 1984 was the year, and of course the date was January 24th. Steve Jobs, pictured here, featured on Macworld magazine, presumably. 1984 released a Macintosh computer to the world, and interestingly, he made this release or made this announcement 2 days after the groundbreaking commercial in 1984 aired before a national TV audience. Okay, so that's history as it happened on this day. That's Steve Jobs there with his Apple Macintosh computers, which he revealed to the world on this day in 1984. 1993, so 9 years later, Thurgood Marshall, pictured here, the first Black Supreme Court justice, sadly died today. So January 24th, Thurgood Marshall died. He was the first Black Supreme Court justice. I featured him in one of my other videos, so go check him out. He must have been featured on his birthday. So again, pictured here is Thurgood Marshall, who sadly died on this day, first Black Supreme Court judge in the United States. 2004, last but not least, history was made when Opportunity's Mars landing launched in mid-2003. The six-wheeled robotic rover Opportunity, it landed on this day in Mars. Like its twin rover Spirit, which had landed on January 3rd, it analyzed rocks and soils and relayed pictures back to Earth. So, the Opportunity's Mars landing, which was launched in mid-2003, this was the day it landed on Mars in 2004. Okay, on that note, we have come to the end of today's Today in History. Before we go, I'm going to show you one picture of this, the result of this expedition in Mars. So this is a six-wheeled robotic rover, Opportunity. So this is the rover, the Mars spacecraft, if you like, the rover Opportunity, six-wheeled robotic rover on Mars. The day again was January 24th, and the year was 2004. So we have come to the end of today's Today in History. Thanks for dropping by. But before you go anywhere, in tomorrow's Today in History, Boleyn, Burns, and Virginia Woolf, not Victoria Woolf, Virginia Woolf. Who is afraid of her? There's no need to be afraid of Virginia Woolf. Now, if you're puzzled, of course, I'll explain tomorrow. Till then, see you. Stay safe. Take care. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for your support. Give me a thumbs up if you like the video. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet, and I shall see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.